For most of our lives, we've been engaged with games in some way. Video games have marked our generation and there's no denying it. We've come a long road, from simple fun games built up only by a few pixels, to massive world with lots of complex elements and systems implemented within them. Whether you want to battle versus other players in an arena, bring your team to the win by shooting at an enemy, or you want to be the last survivor left in the world, there's a cup of tea for everyone. We're going to focus on the MMORPG genre for now. When it comes to the first MMORPG that we've ever played, a lot of us have different experiences. There is no doubt, however, that each of us remembers their first. My initial experience was thrilling and exciting. At first, I couldn't believe that I'm actually able to stand in the same city square with other people, like me, and that I could talk to them, move around with them, and fight them. It seemed like not long ago I've been playing on my Nintendo and I've been blowing dust off of my cartridges, and today I can do this? That's amazing. Like many of you watching this, I was a student when I first came across an MMORPG. I didn't have a computer back then, and it's not like our family couldn't afford it. My parents thought that it would get in the way of my studying. So not having a computer to play on, I had to walk to the local computer cafe in order to play. Remember those? Computer cafes? Yeah, they were a thing. Walking there took me about 15 to 20 minutes, but most of the time I wasn't alone. I had a friend and we walked together, making the trip feel more like 2 minutes. Do you see where I'm going with this? In order to play, I had to go physically to a friend's house and call his name as loudly as I can, because we either didn't have a phone at home or I wasn't allowed to toy with it. Over the years, I've heard many different and personal stories from other people about how they remember their journeys through the massive multiplayer online world. But their stories never begin with the online world, but the actual world instead, as is my story too. In my memories, I'm going down the road in the afternoon with a dear childhood friend, and I'm walking out the computer club afterwards. It's already dawn, and we have new stories to tell and new adventures to share, more topics to discuss. Everyone at school was talking about it. You go to sleep thinking about it. And you that are watching, you probably remember heading out, walking for some time while having a nice conversation with a friend, mostly about the game, and arriving at the cafe all hyped up to play. It was extraordinary. It was something new and special, and we were there to experience it. And I don't mean just being there in the moment. This would never happen again. For anyone. We were born before the internet existed, and there's never going to be another generation that first discovers this. This is ours. Yesterday at work, my buddy was telling me about how nervous he was during his first few Right Boss battles, not to screw up. At the same time, how thrilling it's been to find success at the end. The curiosity and eagerness to find a new zone. Maybe it has good loot. Maybe only a few people know about this, and how exhilarating it was to go to a new town. Everyone there seems stronger, but not to worry. You're going to catch up to them and even be stronger than them. And do you remember the music? The music in town. The armors and weapons. You better have the best one of those, since you have some enemies that think bad of you and your clanmates. They want what you want. You can't both have it. There's going to be a battle, an epic one. Nowadays, the MMORPGs have auto battle. They have auto questing. It's like someone is chewing the food for you and then spitting it in your mouth, ready to be swallowed. The music is okay, I guess. Back in the day, the armor looked like a medieval smith created them using his knowledge, which was passed on to him from his predecessors. Now, the armors look like Optimus Prime has been skinned, and you're wearing him. The zones are okayish, but they hold no value for you, since you skim through them pretty quick. You don't even have to look at them if you use auto hunting. They mean nothing to you. But let's put those aside. Most of these MMORPGs are for mobile, and some would even argue that's not a real gaming platform. Let's talk about the good MMOs. There certainly are some good ones out there, and there are even better ones coming out over the next few years. Maybe you know about some of them, maybe you don't, but trust me when I say this, there are really good MMORPGs right now, and more are coming. So what's the problem with them? There's nothing fundamentally wrong with the games themselves. People are playing them. People are going to play them. But in order to understand why is it so hard to choose, why is it so hard to find a good one to play, we need to go back to the roots. First off, when we entered these worlds many years ago, yes, I'm going with many, it's 2019, time has passed. So when we first entered these worlds, they were unknown to us. Some information was available, but not much. If we wanted to know something, we had to ask our real life and or in-game friends, or go scavenge the needed knowledge from some godforsaken forum. Second, in order to be efficient at something, whether it's a job or a farm spot or a boss again, you ask or someone tells you up front, but it's ear-to-ear communication. Third, if you wanted to excel at PvP combat, you could speculate and experiment. It was not an exact science. There was no ultimate setup that would be the most efficient for you at a given situation. Nobody exactly knew how things worked best. Fourth, it was hard. It was hardcore grind. It doesn't matter if you did repeatable quests an X amount of time, or you hunted the same spot for hours and hours. If you wanted to have good stuff, you had to put the work in. No way around it. Now let's just state that all of the points that I made were accompanied by rumors, and sometimes what we did was plain wrong. I was wearing a wrong weapon at some point. Come back to nowadays. It's much easier. There are game experiments that generate tons of data that clearly shows where it's best to go farm, or what quest is best to do for which reward, which boss does what, and what's the perfect setup versus a certain class. And this is not a bad thing, as I've said before. There's nothing wrong with the games themselves, but there is a problem. At least, for me there is. But judging by how the scene has been developing and moving over the years, I suspect that there are many more, and it's not just me. See, the guides and the data, and the experiments that tell you which is the most perfect thing to do at any scenario, they're good. They lift a big burden out of you by removing the need to rely on shady web information or on rumors based on people's perspective. But they also remove the unknown, the mystery, the magic surrounding the world that you've made friends in and where you fought side by side, together, in this world where knowledge is power, where you continuously try to outplay and outsmart the other. The secret is out. It's not a secret anymore. Maybe we should just go back to the old games, but we can't play them anymore. There have been about 1,000 expansions and patches, and this is why you see a development of classic servers emerging for a lot of MMORPGs. At first, it started with private servers, but after the huge player spikes, official servers have been released. People want the same attention to detail, thought, design, and heart put into the new titles as we had in the old ones. And this is a fact. It's not a discussion. The numbers are real. And now, you sit, and you read articles about an upcoming title, and you watch some videos. You get hyped about it, and when it releases you play it for a while, but eventually get bored of it and just leave. You see another one will release in 4 months, so you wait for it, and in the meantime, you try to give a chance to an existing one. You leave both games behind, and the cycle repeats. You just can't commit. And the truth is, these new worlds aren't bad at all. In fact, they have improved and built upon the old MMOs, both graphically and mechanically. Their maps are huge, and there's a lot to see. There's so much stuff to do. But we don't. It's not the same. It's not like what it was before. Even playing on the classic servers doesn't feel the same. The UI's got some additional elements, and this thing here, what is this? This wasn't here before. It's just not the same. It's different. As we reach the end of this video, maybe some of you already realized what I've been trying to get at. I guess what I'm trying to say with all of this is that it's not that it's hard to find a good MMO to play nowadays. It's just that we're growing up. But we can keep trying.